welcome to the Jazz Ranch. I want to talk about this song, They Say That Falling in Love is Wonderful. It's a great song by the master composer, songwriter, Irving, who also wrote the lyrics for this. And it really is a masterpiece. And if you buy the sheet music for this song, it's from Annie Get Your Gun, a musical. It's perfectly written. In other words, you can't really improve upon it. I mean, you can add things to it and you can reharmonize it and that sort of thing. But if you just read the sheet music the way he wrote it, it's perfect. And we're in the key of F major. Starts out on the 2-chord or G minor 7th, but right away he has something interesting happening here. He voices the right hand against the left hand in opposite direction like that. So descending motion in the left hand, ascending motion in the right hand like this. That alone is like very hip for like a sheet music version. Then he goes down to D flat there now, and it's actually like a B flat minor 6, but in first inversion the D flat's there. Then he has this like that. Now that's the first phrase. They say that falling in love is wonderful. So he matches the music. The chord changes, the melodic line are just perfectly married together. You know, if you have this, when you have this beautiful chord there, which is an inverted B flat minor 6 with a G there in the bass. Beautiful sounding chord, really. Then this C7, but like that, and then descending like that perfectly with the B flat in the bass. Now that's the B flat minor 6th in root position to this chord. Now he could have made it an A minor 7th, but it's better being an F with a A in the bass. It's a lot prettier, I think. And then this beautiful diminished chord, this A flat diminished chord. The next phrase, just repeating. So he's going to repeat that motive there, like. Okay, now he could have gone this. He could have da ba da ba da ba da. That would be obvious. He doesn't do that. He goes da ba da ba da ba da. So that half diminished chord there now, the G minor 7 flat 5, is beautiful there. And you don't expect it in F major. You expect it in F minor, but so that's an altered note there in the scale. That's the scale. D flat doesn't belong in that scale, so it's altered. Then he creates an C7 flat 9 there with that note held over, and then resolves it beautifully to an F chord. So there you have a perfect phrase, melodically, harmonically, and he's just stating the words. They say that falling in love is wonderful. It's wonderful, so they say. So that opening phrase is killer. It's beautifully written. I would say that descending bass line movement is really beautiful sounding. You know, in other words, it isn't going through a cycle of fifths. It isn't going like this. Anything like that. It's just descending down the scale to that note, which is out of the scale, then down to this note, and then down another half step, which is not in the scale. In other words, this has a lot of chromatic movement descending in the left hand. That's beautiful. And the melody is perfect and the words are perfect. So, you know, the next thing to look at is, well, reharmonizing the next phrase, because it's just a repeat. So instead of doing it this way, I did it this way on the second time. So now I'm voicing a fuller chord here in the right hand, and I'm doubling the melody in the left like this. You could put a diminished chord on the second note if you like, or it could be this, yeah. And then same thing again. Now second ending to the C7 flat 9. Now there you have an F7. Now you have a dominant 1 chord. Instead of it being major, it's dominant now. And then I put an approach chord there, or a B7. Takes us to the 4 chord, and that's the bridge. Now we'll continue. Now the interesting thing on the bridge is he actually isn't modulating to another key. He's just going to the 4 chord. So the 4 chord would be B flat major 7, then a B flat minor 6. Now here's that F chord again with the A in the bass. Now this is interesting. He goes to A minor here. Now here's a drop 2. See, now you can find these drop 2 types of chord voicings in old sheet music. You know, this was written back in, what, the 50s? Or the late 40s, actually. So there it is. You see now, that second note is dropped down an octave. I have videos on this if you want to look it up. But he has this written here, right in the sheet music. Then this A flat diminished chord again. Now this is probably the most interesting part. That alteration there on the E chord to take us back to A minor, and then down a half step. 2-5 on A flat minor to D flat. Then we're back to the 2 chord again. It's a rather unique bridge and a little bit difficult to understand and hear right off. It's not as simple a bridge as you would think. So that bridge has a very similar kind of harmonic concept as the A section with the descending line. Then descends there, B flat to A. Then the approach tones. And that E falling in there to take us back to A minor, then down a half step. That's very hip. That's like a jazz tune right there. A minor, D7, A flat minor 7, D flat 7. Now we're back to the last A, which is a reprieve of the first A. But this time it moves to this high note. For that high note, that's the climax of the song. Wonderful, wonderful, 6 chord dominant, and then this interesting suspended chord. C7. Then this unexpected tritone substitute here. The G flat 7 altered with the sharp 11 right there. So it's very hip, and that last substitution he wrote it on the original sheet music. It's not like a jazz chord that someone put in later. He actually composed the song that way. So this is one of the great masterpieces in the Great American Songbook. Great standards by the master Irving Berlin. Thanks for watching.